Hey YouTube, the Gamer Lycan here, and this is part 2 of the spooky story of the black-eyed kids while camping that I'm telling. And if y'all haven't seen the first video, I'll put a link in the description below and an annotation on screen. So let's get right into it. I remember that 2 seconds, my back was turned on those kids as I was leaving the bathroom, and I was certain that I was gonna die. As soon as my back was turned, I thought they were gonna tear me to shreds. But it was with knee-buckling relief that I left the bathroom and walked out into the midday sun. I walked 15 or so feet to my car on noodle-like legs. I was too afraid to look behind me. I fumbled for my keys, unlocked the door, sat down, closed the door, and locked it. Only then in the safety of my locked car did I feel safe enough to look back towards the bathroom. Damned if those little bastards weren't standing outside the bathroom staring at me with those big, black, soul-sucking eyes. Now I want to take a moment to explain a little bit more about myself. I'm not a big man, but I'm not small either. I'm 6 foot with shoes on, I always say, and I'm around 185 pounds. What I'm saying is I can take a couple of 12-year-olds in a fight if I have to. Like, I'm not saying I've ever taken 12-year-olds in a fight before, but if I have to take on these kids, I probably would. So, well, I've been lost once before when I was camping, and I've ran out of water. And I've seen like grizzly bears and stuff on trails, and I've never been as afraid as I have looking at these kids. So there I am in my car staring at those kids, them staring at me. I can't take my stare away from them, and they start for my car. Startled to my senses, I turn the key, throw it in reverse, and get the hell out of there. I drive off, not daring to look in the rearview mirror. I know that if I look back there, I'll see those black eyes looking at me. I turn onto the main road and head to the shore and drive off north to my campsite. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Why the hell are you still camping? To be honest, I can't tell you why. I was just so much shocked I didn't realize what I was thinking. And so, I was here, I might as well go camping. I didn't really think too much of it with these kids. So, I got out my gear and started down the trail. Now, there's 2 access ways I could take. I could either head through the woods or along the beach. The wooded trail is quicker and shorter, and the beach trail is harder on the legs and lungs. Walking with a 50-pound pack in the sand is no picnic. However, considering what I went through, I decided to go along the beach. It was the more open, brighter, kinder trail. To reach the campsite from the beach trail, you have to turn away from the lake and go about a half a mile into the woods. Reaching my campsite, I find it uncomfortably very empty. The campsite has 7 sites, and not one of them is taken. Usually, I'm very happy about this. Solitude, I like my peace and quiet, but right now I could use some company. I unpack and set my ultralight 1-person tent down and put my sleeping pad in it, unroll my 0-degree rated mummy bag. Taking my walking stick, which is a sawed-off hockey stick, and my folding knife with me, I head into the forest to gather firewood. I pile up a good size, 3 times larger than what I think I'll need, and proceed to light a fire. Cook my food, eat it while watching the sun go down. It was a normal, beautiful night, calming, relaxing. But the night only brought dread with it. I don't want to be out here, I suddenly realized. I finished eating quickly and gather even more firewood. I don't want to run out in the middle of the night, so I guess I'm stuck here for the night. I get the fire going and riffle through my pack for my flask. This was a situation that I called for a little liquid courage. I hit it hard. In the woods, the sun sets after the sun sets at first slower than you might think, then in the end it just kind of falls out of the sky like it's gone in a blink, just like. And so it did that night. Sitting next to the fire, I decided to move my tent closer to me. So I click out my flashlight and move my tent until it's right behind the small bench next to my fire ring. I have the tent behind me, protecting my back as I saw it. I'm glad I decided to gather more firewood because I'm burning through it quickly, keeping the fire as high as I am. Part of me getting away from all of this for me is to leave my phone in the car, and I don't even bring a watch sometimes. But right now I wanted my cell phone, and not to call people because there's obviously not going to be any service here, but just to check the time because I wanted the time to go by fast. I wanted this night to be over because I was still freaked out about what happened. So I go back into my tent, close the bug flap but leave the main flap open so I could see the fire, and I try to get to sleep. I didn't know how long I lay there before sleep found me, but eventually I started to drift off. Then I woke up. I felt more and more foolish for the fear I felt yesterday. Being a usually calm and cool and collected guy, I couldn't explain the intense dread and fear I felt when I saw those kids. It just seemed, I don't know, kind of retarded now that I think about it. But, I don't know, I went on with my day, and I decided to stay another night after breakfast, which was a horrible mistake. So after breakfast, I gathered firewood so there would have to be any to gather when I got back in the evening. I could just have it all ready for me. I went back to my car and decided to go to the dune climb. The dune climb is a trail that begins at the towering dune and ends 1.5 miles away from Lake Michigan. The hike was uneven, full but beautiful, providing me with more determination not to be scared off by some stupid kids with contact lenses. I kept telling myself that. So I got to the small camp stove and I cooked some soup, finished with lunch, and decided the next I would go take for a scenic drive. I forgot the name of the road, but it's the part of the Sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore. It's a winding drive with several scenic and educational pull-offs, relaxing and beautiful. Then I decided to go to a nice steakhouse, which I usually wouldn't do if I'm camping, but considering what happened with the black-eyed kids, I was pretty freaked out and I was like, I need this. I'm going to treat myself. I don't give a fuck what people say. So I went into Traverse City, which is a nice town if you visit, if you ever get a chance. Just a recommendation. I went to the steakhouse at 4:30, and I figured it was going to be a quick dinner, like a 45-minute drive and an hour walk to get me to the camp. It's just about dusk, but that's not how it happened. The restaurant was packed. I got a table fairly quickly, but service was very slow. I was like, God, fuck this shit. Like, I'm going to go back there and it's going to be pitch black, and these kids might be out there. But I said, I'm not a pussy. I'm not going to abandon several $100s worth of camping equipment because I was scared. I gear up. Flashlight, pocket knife, water bottle, headlamp, and walking stick. I'm like a Swiss Army dude just walking around. Again, I had two options, through the woods or along the beach. Storm clouds blocked out most of the star and moonlight, so I thought I would have to be kidding myself to think that the beach would have been better lit. But it was more open and provided me with a better feeling. So I took the beach path. The path is only 1.5 miles long along the beach and another half mile into the woods at the campsite. I figured if I hustled, I could be back in my campsite in just over 30 minutes. I turned on my headlamp and moved down the beach. The wind is hitting pretty hard and pretty damn cold, but I'm prepared. My coat has a nice rain shell and I'm not going to get too wet. Hiking in the dark is not smart, the best of circumstances. In the area there are cougars and bears, both rare, but the real danger is getting lost, or stumbling over something and injuring yourself. However, I wasn't too worried about any of that. Animals are so rare in the area that I'll take very bad luck to get them bothered by them. And the beach was clear. What had me worried was a creeping sensation of paranoia. As I walked, the sensation of paranoia and dread grew. I stopped every 10 feet to look around, lighting the tall grass next to the beach and before the woods with my headlamp. I opened my jaw and listened. You can hear better if your mouth is slightly open. But I saw nothing and heard nothing. I'd walked another 10 feet and just know that someone was watching me. It was hard to hear anything over the lapping waves of the lake and the howling wind of the storm, but I swear I heard voices in the tall grass. It's kind of, imagine it like if you've ever seen Lost, those whispers that you hear in the tall grass. I've probably been walking another half an hour, and I knew I'd be meeting off with a trail leading to the woods and to my campsite any second now. But the world fell apart. Having one of my strongest moments of feeling watched, I turned around, facing the direction I came, and there they were. The boy who spoke to me earlier couldn't even have been more than 5 feet away, and the other boy, the quiet boy, was standing still behind him. Each of the boys stood motionless, staring, just staring. At this moment, I'm not sure I have the ability to put my terror into words. The best way I can describe it is to say I felt like I was dying. I felt like I was in the hospital, and the doctor just told me I had moments to live. The talkative boy moved towards me. The only light on the beach came from my headlamp. Neither kid had any sort of flashlight. My LED beam flashed across their faces, reflecting grotesquely in their large dark eyes. The waves crashed, and the wind blew. "Help us," they said. I couldn't speak, I couldn't move. I could barely breathe. The boy moved closer. The quiet boy stepped to the side, almost like he was slowly circling behind me, and that broke the spell. I'm not fucking helping you, I said. We're lost. We can't find our campsite. This is a game, I asked, even though I knew it wasn't. Take us with you, please. We'll all die out here. We're afraid. I call bullshit on that one. They're scared? I thought to myself, I'm scared. You're the one with fucking creepy ass eyes. The vacant, hollow voices. You're the ones with the fisheye stare. The quiet boy moved a little more. Now he was standing beside me just a couple of feet away. The talkative boy was still in front of me, blocking the way I had came. Blocking the path to my car. Then things got even weirder. Okay, you can come with me, I said. And we're going to stop there, guys. We're going to continue this in part 3 in the next video, and I'll see you guys there.